everybody, and welcome to my podcast, Stacy Personally Speaking, where my thoughts become known. This is season 1, episode 167 of the Journey 365 series. Today's episode is about almost late, new toy, and the call. Not that call. I started my devotions a couple minutes after 5 p.m. Yes, you heard me correctly, or you read this correctly. After 5 in the afternoon. Another timely reminder from the Holy Spirit that we as children of God are not living a life of righteousness unto God in vain. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked, so that a man shall say, Verily, there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a God that judgeth in the earth. Psalm 58 verses 10 and 11 of the King James Version. We are not living in vain when we live unto God. I had gotten up at 5 o'clock in the morning, used the bathroom, and then returned to bed. Then I got up with the 6:30 alarm and sat down to prepare myself for my devotions. Now, I use my phone to listen to the Bible being read on the YouVersion app. So when I took up my phone this morning, I saw 2 missed calls. Right away, I could see it was a very important call that I had been waiting for over a month, or about a month, over a month. I wasn't prepared for the call, no, as I had been in the first couple of weeks since receiving the news originally. The call had come sometime after midnight when I checked my phone, after midnight in Japan, and at minutes to 7 in the morning. Now it was 5 p.m. in Jamaica. I decided to quickly gather some information before attempting to call back the person. At around 6:50 in the morning, I made the call, but it rang without an answer. I realized that they had also sent an email to which I responded and provided some details to include when they could call me back. Of course, I had to work out the time difference and ensure that the time that I was putting for them to call me would not be a time when I would be sleeping. That took quite a lot of deliberate effort. Before doing that, I had sent some messages to friends soliciting feedback from them, and they are in Jamaica, regarding the decision that I needed to make shortly. And incidentally, both of them decided to call me. However, I had work at the high school, and so I was not able to talk with them for a long period, as much as I'd wanted to. But their advices were well received in the short time that we talked. By the time I'd gotten off the phone, it was around 8 o'clock in the morning, which was not good. I knew I had no time to do my devotions or to have a proper breakfast. The fact that I didn't have any green vegetables meant that I couldn't make a green smoothie. When I'm not making smoothies for breakfast, I basically don't know what else to eat. But then I remembered I had the creamy pumpkin soup in the fridge, and so I decided to have that with 2 slices of toast. Sufficing to say, I had to abandon 1 slice of the toast and half of the already very small serving of pumpkin soup. Today I was supposed to get to work for 9:10. 9:10, since I was only doing office work in the morning And in the fourth session, I would actually be teaching a class which would start at 12:10 instead of the usual time at 11:45. So I didn't leave my house until around 8:50, which gave me very little time to make the bike ride to work. I'm sure I needed at least 25 minutes instead of 20. And so it was a treacherous ride to work this morning. But God still favored me and made my crooked path straight. I managed to get to my desk at 9:12. When I actually get to the school, I have to park my bicycle, then go to the locker area and change to my inside shoes, and then make my way upstairs to my desk. It was a hard ride, I must admit. I had a list of things I wanted to do for those first 3 hours that were office hours. But guess what? I didn't get a chance to do any of them. I had gotten an email from my company that the fourth session class on Thursday would be held online via Zoom, and it would be the whole class. So, about 36 students. And this was because of a coronavirus infection. Now, I had not had the class where the coronavirus was detected last week. And so I had seen a note on my desk advising me of this Zoom class that I'd be having, which was going to be a team teaching effort. Now, this would be my first time to team teach with another student at this high school. When I just got to work, I spent the first 15 or 20 minutes cleaning my desk, which had a lot of pencil marks and, other marks and so on. It was just really dirty. And usually I don't have the time to do this because I just go to work to teach. So after cleaning my desktop, the teacher with whom I would be team teaching came. For almost the next 2 hours, we were talking and planning the online lesson. So my plan mash up. My plan that I had completely changed. I have Zoom teaching experience using my computer, but never using an iPad. And this created a lot of hiccups in the plan for me because the iPad has a lot of restrictions in terms of what it can and cannot do. It cannot facilitate breakout rooms. Woo! Now, initially, I thought that I was going to be supporting this teacher because she came and showed me a worksheet that she had intended to use. But then it dawned on me after some time that this was actually one of my original classes, except that I'd be teaching them from work online while they are at home. Now, what has been happening with my schedule since the start of the semester is that I teach 3 out of 4 classes. And that's what I did in the previous week. So 1 class was not taught. This meant that 2 of my classes so far are behind, and I needed to keep abreast of what they had already covered and what they had not covered. So I spent some time to create a graph with the number of worksheets that I had issued and the online activities and make a visual check of which class had done what already. When I did this, I realized that the class for next Thursday had not yet done the listening activity, which everybody else had done. And so this was incorporated into the lesson plan. I had a good experience planning. with this teacher, I must admit. And I hoped I hope our time together on Thursday goes well. I gave her my email address so she could send me her suggestions and I could look them over and we could confirm exactly what we would do on Thursday. You can imagine, after all this planning and thinking and talking, that I had gotten really hungry. What's new, right? And so I had brought an apple with me, already cut up, and I started eating this apple because my next class would be in about 25 minutes or so. This class that I was going to teach today had missed the first lesson because they had not had a class in the fourth lesson last week. But they had joined another class and had the second lesson together with them. So today I did the first lesson, which I thought was an important building block for them towards the presentation which they would need to do at the end. This is also confusing, I know. The class was a little challenging today though, but I think it was because my mind was a little distracted with the online class for next Thursday. Once the class ended, I was out of work within 15 minutes or so. There were only about 2 teachers in the staff room, as most of the teachers had already left. I kept reminding myself as I was riding my bicycle that I was not going home, but I was heading to the mall to use the ATM machine and go to the 100-yen store, even though I was so hungry. Once I got to the mall, I did the necessary transactions and went upstairs to the 100-yen store where I discovered they had a camping section. It was very interesting and pretty cool to see all the camping gear that were available. I'm sure, there are many others, but it was just good for me to see and experience. It got my mind a little too excited, however, and I bought a few extra things, like a headlight. Yay. I didn't get home until after 3 o'clock, and I was quite hungry, but feeling a little bit more prepared for the upcoming camping trip. I had to remind myself that I had an online class at evening, and also that I couldn't go to bed until the latest 11:30 p.m. as I was expecting a call between 10:30 and 11:30, which is 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. in Jamaica. Phew. I was staring in the face of a really long night. For my late lunch, I reheated the creamy pumpkin soup that I'd left and added another slice of bread to the first slice I had abandoned earlier this morning. I was really tired and hungry and told myself I would try to take a nap before my class started. But that never happened. It never happened. As I had done my devotions, and then I was fidgeting with the camping stuff still in a heap on my room floor. I had added another bag and unpacked the clothes bag and rolled the clothes to make them more compact. I started my online lesson with everything checked and working properly. The student was 5 minutes late due to technical difficulties at work, but I was happy they made it and they were safe. The class went really well. This was my second time with this student, who I'll be seeing in person next month in a larger group. The hour-and-a-half class came to an end at 7:30 p.m. and I set about getting some grub. Hungry again. I had decided on guacamole and chips since I'd taken out the frozen avocados since yesterday. I was tired, exhausted, and I knew it. I tried my best to relax by avoiding the phone as I enjoyed yet another biography film. I added a new toy to my room, which sent me in a rearranging wreck. I really didn't want to do this tonight, but I was trying to keep myself awake in anticipation of the phone call, based on the information I had provided them with. I had always wanted a clothes rack for the room to serve me, especially during the winter season, even though I started keeping summer clothes in the room as well instead of returning them to the outside closet. I had previously had clothes hung against the wall at an angle, which made them more compact, as well as some clothes hanging from the back of my door. But with the clothes rack, the clothes protruded more into the space. Yes, and it seemed to take up a lot more volume in the room. I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, but I was too tired to do anything else. I wanted to try taking a nap while waiting for the phone call. I was drifting off to sleep when the call finally came after 11 p.m. The connection wasn't so good though, but after a few attempts, I was able to hear them clearly. The information provided was quite technical, and my brain was so tired. I asked if the follow up email would contain what was discussed. I did try to make some notes as best as possible, but I couldn't trust myself fully at that hour of the night in the state that I was in. I was so happy when the call ended before 11:30, although I didn't end up going to bed until after midnight. So happy that my class the next morning wouldn't start until 10 a.m. Thank you so much for journeying with me on today's entry. I hope that you will leave a comment below or share this with somebody who you think would enjoy this everyday journey with me. Remember to subscribe to my blog at stacypersonallyspeaking.wordpress.com so you can receive my blogs directly into your email. Stay safe, and thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye.